Hi guys, good morning and welcome to this video. In this video, I intend to introduce Vintage Videos. Vintage Videos is a Django video game store application. It's going to be a web application which I'm using Django to run. So vintage video is actually a project I want to build as my end of to mark the end of my journey with ALX software engineering. So it's gonna be my final portfolio projects, and the team members is gonna be myself again. So I want to build it solo. So it's gonna be just me. I'm gonna handle both the front end design, the back end logic, the database management, etc. So description is a full stack application. So I'm going to have both the front end and the back end function. It's not a web API and it's not just a spa, not just like a front end alone. This thing. So I'll be leveraging the efficiency of Postgres in this application. That's the database I've chosen because I want it to scale. And I will be using a Bootstrap to make the front end look that's much better because I don't have so much time to spend on the front end. So I'll be using Bootstrap to help myself. So let me go over to the learning objectives. For the learning objectives, this project is going to challenge me to learn HTML5 and CSS3. So because I'll be using them to structure the UI of the design and also to style the CSS. Bootstrap framework is what I'm going to be using. Then for the back end, like I mentioned, I'll be using a Django, and of course, Django is a Python programming framework. So that's what I'll be using, and this is the architecture I'll be following. I'll be following a model view controller, that's MVC, where we have our models defined somewhere. Then we have our view functions or view classes, and then our templates, which is more like the front end. That's the design this I'll be following, and the ORM I'll be using is Django ORM. I wouldn't like to use a SQL Alchemy in this project. I just want to stick to Django ORM. Then for the database I mentioned, I'll be using Postgres. I'll be using Postgres for the application. So for technologies used, I've already mentioned it before. I'm using Django framework, Postgres, and I'll be using npm to make some front-end dependency installations. Then, of course, Bootstrap, because I'll be using some icons from both Material UI and Favicon. Then, of course, this is my schedule. This schedule is from Trello, where it's just more like a project management platform where I have some of the features I want to implement and the deadline for them. Like if we look into this first one, I think the deadline is going to be 6, which is very close to now. Then for some new features I want to implement the user models, and the deadline is going to be on September 8th. Then let's move on to the challenges I've already faced. I faced a lot of challenges because I was not that proficient in Django, and I'm not yet that proficient in Django. I am more familiar with Flask framework, but I wanted to build this project on Flask, but I realized for future updates and for maintainability and given the time frame I have, I don't really have all that much time to start coding in Flask. So I decided to use Django, one to learn the framework itself and also to make the project faster. So that's one of the challenges. I had a challenge of choosing which tooling will give me the speed I need and also give me the scalability. So uh, I chose to use Django and Postgres. So also mastering new skill is one of the challenges I'll be facing because, like I said, I'm not familiar with Django framework, but I believe it's something I'll be able to do. So thank you guys. I believe you guys will be waiting to see the end of this project, which will be coming out in like 2 weeks time. I think in 2 weeks time I'll have the base projects out and functional. Then as time goes on, I'll keep updating on it. Thanks, guys. Cheers.